see. Yeah, so we kind of upgrading every time we go live a little bit. Trying to do a little bit better with all this. Let me see. Hopefully y'all can hear me okay. Let me test out some stuff. All right. Making sure y'all can hear me okay. Testing. Let me get a little bit. Let me get a little bit closer. All right. I guess it's kind of like higher up, sitting up a little bit higher. I got it on the stand. I didn't want it to be too low for this. Let's see. I think I can adjust it. All right. All right. Let me see something. Yeah, so we tweaking as we go with this, right? As you can see, well, adjusting as we go with this. Okay. All right. No worries. We looking good though. We looking good. Hopefully we don't have no internet connection drops or anything like that as well. Got some things changed with that. I'm putting in here in the chat again. We live. We live. We live. We live. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I know this one is a little bit later of a live stream than I've been doing. I usually try to aim the stream between like, what, 6 and 9 p.m. I'm trying to lock down like a time. But of course, I mean, that's easier said than done, you know. Life happens. So, you know, I may have an aim for like 8 o'clock and then, you know, certain things I got to do first, you know. So, nothing wrong with it. Just adjust. That's all you got to do. Which is a big thing in life. You just got to adjust. You feel me? Adapt. Okay. So, with this string, for this one, is basically, let me mute this. So for this stream, it's basically picking up off of the stream I did yesterday, which was the stream where we talked about how to make money. If you have not seen that stream, I highly recommend going in and watching it. I literally basically go through a little brief history of money in general and how to go through and make it and get started with making money. And I hinted in there a bunch about the fact that the first big battle of it is, of course, making the money. And a part that's I feel like it's kind of missed out a lot is once you make it, what to do with it and how to never lose it type of thing. And I think that gets people more than the actual making money because we're so like tuned in and so focused on the idea of just generating income, which of course it makes sense. I mean, we all got bills to pay, but so we're so in tune into thinking like, okay, let's make the money. But I can't say that it's not much thought that's given into what to do with it after, but it's just not really knowing much. Can't even say not necessarily knowing much. Maybe not being fully aware of like what could happen with certain things once you make the money, to never lose it, to never have it lost. And that's why I'm doing this, because again, I want to make y'all strong and rich, all that as much as I can. I want to bring out the best versions of y'all as much as I can, and so as in myself too, because I feel like with me going on here trying to basically like in a way teach all this stuff, it only makes me better too as well. And me, I used to work at a bank, and I'm not a financial advisor, so I'm gonna go ahead and put that right here. I even have it in the description. Full disclosure, I am not a financial advisor. I am not licensed in anything financial. I did work at a bank. So what I say, if you did wanna, I'm not getting y'all to do any investments or anything, but if you did wanna consult with someone, definitely go to an actual financial advisor. They'll better give you licensed advice that they can. This is just personal advice for me, from what I've seen, especially from even the people that I was grateful to have met and come across my time in the financial industry, and just personal experience for myself. So these are just tips that I wish I would have known, type of thing. This is if I was talking to my past self. So even if I can help somebody, I mean, I hope this really does help, which I'm sure it will. But again, I hope it does. These are just things I wish I would have heard, and I'm glad to be able to even be able to explain it. So I'm gonna go through 5 things with this, 5 tips, 5 things of how to never go broke, essentially. But I will say there also is some learning experiences when you do go broke. So big learning experiences in them. All it does is just make you better in the long run. And with this, it's kind of helping someone avoid any of this type of thing, or avoid that downfall, that pitfall. So right. So I'm gonna get to it. I'm also gonna put in the chat for start with number 1. I'm going to put in the chat to definitely go back and watch the previous one, which I'm about to do that right now. I'm about to put a link to the first stream. You feel me? To the first one. I really fallen in love with this live stream thing. Like I really am. Like I said, a lot of it. I don't necessarily have to worry about the editing part, and it's more on the fly. I think it just fits my lifestyle right now a lot better and a lot easier to do. It's a lot easier. I got a learning curve with it, but it's a lot easier. I'm putting it in here right now. If you have not watched the previous stream for this same time, I highly recommend watching it. All right, so I put that in the chat, basically saying that if you have not watched the previous video before this, where I go in depth of it again, how to make money, I highly recommend going through and watching that, because it basically leads directly into this video. Basically picking up from it, and we're gonna continue on. All right, so again, number 1, I'm not no financial advisor. Putting that in here again, full disclosure. I'm not a financial advisor, but again, this is personal advice, and I'm sure it will definitely help. All right, so the 5 things that I got for you all. First one is starting with knowing where you're at. So the first piece of advice that I got for you all with never going broke again, or never losing your money, is to first of all know where you're at. What I mean by that is wherever you're at, whether you do not have a job or you have a job, you're in school, you're retired, wherever, I don't know. Wherever you're at, look at where you're at and look at how much revenue you're making in a month, and look at all of your expenses in a month. Basically, what I mean by this, because this is basically like finance 101. This is the most basic level of it, of money in general. Learning how much do you make versus how much you spend. This will give you a huge advantage over someone else because a lot of people don't even notice. The typical person doesn't even really know how much they really are making in a month and doesn't know how much they're really spending in a month. Which, of course, I'm also speaking from what I people that I've been around. Well, not necessarily people that's been around. This is just personal experience. Of course, it could be different in other countries and other places, but the I know the typical person doesn't really know. Especially, they may know. Of course, you may know a little bit more of what you're making, but you don't really, especially, do not know how much you're spending in a month, right? And that was big for me too. Even before this, like what I said, just for a little background information for all you. I went to college, school in Georgia, was there for 5 years, graduated with a bachelor's. Soon as I graduated, had a job lined up, was there for almost 2 years, got hit by a layoff, and after that went into banking for almost a year, and then left, especially because now I got my daughter. I wasn't able to get maternity leave, so that was a big thing. And I love to do this full time, for sure. But I mean, during that whole process, basically to show you all, there was a point where I started making money, and there was also a point where I didn't really know how much I was spending per se. So the simplest way to do this is to just make, even if you got to write on a sheet of paper, whatever you got to do, write on a sheet of paper, use Microsoft Excel. I use Microsoft Excel. If you need, I can gladly go through and show you how to do this in Excel. But the simplest way you do it is you just go through, look at it month. To make it easy, you can do the current month. Just look at starting with how much you make. And if you do have a job, just look at how much your paychecks add up to over the entire month. If you don't have a job, just look at how much money you're making with whatever you're doing in a total month. If you're not making anything, then go back to my first video. This would be the first live stream. This would be perfect for you after coming back from that. But look at how much money you're making in a total month, and then have that listed. And then what you're basically gonna do is do this as subtraction, right? So you're gonna have the amount that you're making in a total month, the first line, and then the second line, which is gonna be below that. Now you're gonna go through and look at all of your expenses. I highly recommend with the expenses, starting with your bills first. I say this because these are the things that essentially have to come out, like essentially no matter what. So start with your bills, list every single bill that you have to pay within the month. And then on top of your bills, this is where you get into the more variable stuff. After you list the bills, which is the easier to list, because I mean you just go through, like say internet X amount doesn't change for the most part. It's the same amount. Then you start getting to the variable expenses, which are things like maybe your groceries, your food, maybe your let's see, maybe your gas, how much your traveling expenses, maybe it's all kind of different things where that bills that are, or things that are more variable, and it's not necessarily a set amount per month, but I would add this into your bills. So look at how much how many bills you pay per month, and then also look at how much you are spending with these other variable expenses, going from, again, eating out, groceries, gas, whatever. Add those up, and then after that, anything else that you can think of, anything else that you know that you may have spent your money on, or you know that you spend your money on, regardless, whether it be snacks, whatever, Uber, I don't know, whatever you spend your money on, add that in. And once you have every single bit of idea things that you spent, which is again your expenses, I want you to subtract your expenses from the amount of money that you make total within a month. This will give you technically like almost like an estimate. I mean, you could say it's exact, but it'll give you basically like an estimate of how much money you're making versus how much money you're spending. And it also gives you, after this, once you subtract it, how much you have estimated left over within a month. And use this number one because this gives you a crucial starting point. You know where you're at. You know where you're at, and I'm sure you all ideally have an idea of where you want to go from here or where you would like to be in the future. So this will help. This helps basically getting a starting point. This gives you a great starting point, and you're also ahead of a lot of people because a lot of people do not know this information, which is extremely crucial. It's extremely crucial. It's also very beneficial because again, it kind of gives you like an idea of like where, like what's going on with your money, and it also kind of enlightens you because you're like, wow, dang, I didn't really notice. You know, whether good or bad, you're like, wow, I really didn't even notice. If you didn't notice, if you do already know this, that's great. You're ahead of the game. But if you didn't, hey, no worries. We catch you up. I'm gonna make all y'all superstars if I can help it. So, first thing for the first tip out of the 5 is knowing where you're at. And we did what we did so far. We got the revenue minus expenses, and now within a month. And now you either know how much you're making or how much money you have left over in a month. And if you wanted to basically get an ideal gauge of what that would look like in a year, how much money you would have left over in a year, just times that amount by 12. The amount that you got, just times that by 12. That gives you an estimate of how much money you would have left over in a year if you did the same thing every single month, all the time, and nothing changed. Which is that's great to know. It's good information to know. All right. So that's number 1. Number 2 out of 5 with tips with never going broke. Number 2, which I think is a very big one, is avoiding debt. At least the wrong kind of debt, right? Avoiding debt. What is debt? Basically, debt is just money owed or money that you will spend in the future that you have not already made. This is a big one, especially even for myself, because in that period when I first got out of college, I had started working at a technology company. Came out, I was making some really good money to be only 23, right? And within my first year, matter of fact, it was probably like 6 months within being at the company, I went and got an $80,000 truck. Now I freaking love that truck. I miss it. But boy, that wasn't the debt you probably want to start out with, especially because like back then I didn't realize how much things could change. Like life can change just like that. And what I mean by change is I was working at the company, and again, like I said, right at the 2-year mark or getting close to 2 years, I got laid off. And it wasn't nothing to do with performance. It wasn't that I was doing a bad job. It wasn't that I was being horrible. It just way the direction of the nature of the business went. Being in technology, I mean, it's just the nature of the business. A lot of people were, and complete change, which means when you get like from that, now you got a different amount of revenue coming in, which you still got the same expenses, but your revenue changes, and that completely can change your lifestyle completely. So, again, I'm doing all this as something that I wish I would have heard, type of thing. Am I upset that I did it? No, I'm actually glad I did it because now I got this experience, and I literally tell everyone about it. Tell everyone. I'm not embarrassed about it. Uh, I just want to be able to help give somebody else an extra experience. So, with the debt, but that going off of that too, that does not necessarily, just because you got debt doesn't necessarily mean it's bad, right? There is a good type of debt that you could use, or if you did it strategically. Like maybe if I did that and it made me money, made me way more money than I was spending, then that would be more of a good type of debt for me because I'm actually making money off of this debt more rather than losing the money, type of thing. And so, one thing what I've learned too, especially from being in banking, of how much cash is king, as in like the available cash you have, the more available cash you have ready, like to be able to just be spent just like that, the way better you off, the way better off you are in all things in life. So I put this avoiding debt again. There is some good type of debt. You can use it to your advantage. But the typical person, especially if I just speak to myself, the typical person doesn't necessarily know about that or how much that can be affected or how much they can affect themselves, especially the future you. Because like CM, we don't really think about how much something could change. You just never know what could change at all. Could be something personal, could be something health wise, it could be a loss in family. Maybe you just start working. Like, we just don't think about how much could change on a dime, especially with thinking about debt. So you have to be basically what I'm getting is be very aware and strategic with whatever debt you are getting into. Now, granted, life happens. Sometimes you just have to take debt. Sometimes you may just have to take a loan. That's part of life. It happens. Now, it's just part of life. It just happens. You can't help that. The best thing you can do is, once you have to do that, or once you do take on that debt, is moving forward in the best way possible, and at least being aware of what you're doing. So, with the avoiding debt, right here, let's see. Basic things I'm talking about, simple debt. I can think of off the top of my head is something like auto loans or mortgages, not using credit cards correctly, those type of debt, or personal loans that you don't use correctly, or maybe even certain student loans. Shoot, going to college doesn't guarantee you a job. So strategic. You gotta be strategic with it. And you know what? Speaking of college, I'm gonna definitely go back on this to make it work. If you do go to college, I'm gonna go through talk about like how you can make sure, like, you can make it work for you, where you don't come out and it just was almost like you went to school and nothing happened. We're gonna talk more about that in other streams. But yes, if you can, I always highly recommend avoiding debt. But at the same time, that everybody's in a different situation in life. Shoot, somebody taking on some type of debt for whatever reason could be the best thing for them. And matter of fact, it could be even better than someone else who just takes it up. So I can't just say like I essentially don't take it out, but just again, the main thing I'm saying with the debt is be aware, be aware. And because once you sign the paper for whatever you're doing, once you sign the paper for a mortgage or auto loan or whatever, once you sign it, it's got to be paid. It's got to be paid back. That's another thing I learned. Like, once you sign it, it's got to be paid back, no matter what. So they gonna find a way to get that money from you, or either they're gonna damage some stuff from you being able to get future loans or future credit cards or future cars or whatever. They will find a way to mess you up. So once you sign it, it's got to be paid. Just at least being aware. But again, life happens. Sometimes you have to do it, but just be aware. Just be aware. All right. So far, the first thing out of 5 was just knowing where you're at, where you started. Second thing out of 5 was essentially avoiding debt, or at least using debt in your advantage. Third thing, let's see. Third thing what I would mention is, the third thing I would say to never going broke is continually making money and being aware of lifestyle creep. So, what do I mean by continually making money or lifestyle creep? So we got a baseline of where we're at. We talked about debts. Let's say we avoid the debt. Now we just got this money coming in. Let's just say, look at it if you didn't have debt. You got this money coming in, you just building up the stash of money. And maybe we think like, shoot, I got some extra money in my pocket. I got some money to spend type thing. This is where a lot of things get spent, where, they could be avoided or could have been used for something else, which, shoot, albeit your money, do whatever you want with it. This is just coming in from my side of I'm just saying like how I could probably give a different viewpoint or a different perspective. And we're talking about with never going broke. Because this also goes into the side of you never know what's going to happen. Don't even know what the heck is going to happen really tomorrow, right? So how I look at it is you can't, well, I can't say you can't, but how I look at it is you probably don't want to get too complacent in a sense, because again, you never know what could happen. You never know what could happen. Maybe you in the future, maybe right now you're all good, straight, but then the next moment you really need more money or something. I don't know. Maybe because you spent it all or something. I don't know. Maybe you didn't even have like real debts. You just gone out shopping all the time or something. I don't know. and maybe you just randomly need the money. Because you never know what could happen. This was I recommend at least like kind of staying on the gas pedal with it, just trying to find ways of continually making more money. Even if you got a steady job right now, just trying to like what I would say. I'm trying to make sure. Just try to make sure like find ways that you could do something more. Find a or get promoted, or find a side hustle. Find a hobby that could turn into a side hustle, something like that. Uh, Another thing you can do is work more hours. Try, if you're able to, work overtime, or if it perfectly fits your lifestyle, try to work a couple extra hours overtime. I mean, it can't hurt. It can't necessarily hurt you having extra money in your pocket. I don't think it could really hurt you having extra money in your pocket. I mean, you just got extra money to do whatever with. Maybe reinvest into yourself some kind of way, learn a new skill, but just find some kind of way to continually keep it going. And I'm gonna dive into the lifestyle creep part. Basically, what lifestyle creep is, if you haven't heard it, is basically just so it's a part of where you start making so much money, and now you're starting to make a ton of money, and now that you're starting to spend more money too. Like example, let's just say like, okay, I'm balling, man. I got some money now. I'm sure I'm just gonna go ball out, go get a bunch of hotels or something, or go get more, get another car, or pay more for a car, or get a bigger house, or pay for more for a house. So basically, it's kind of the idea of living outside of your means a little bit, in a sense, but it's definitely a real thing. It's a real thing for sure. I can attest that the more money you make, ideally, the more money you spend. Now, this is not true for everybody, but it's definitely an ideal thing. The more money you make, the more money you spend. So if you can, try to avoid that at all costs if you can, and just look for more ways to be more profitable if you can. It's a big thing. Oh, here my daughter, she's coming. What is it, baby girl?
I want ice cream.
Okay, okay. We'll get some in a little bit, okay? Your dad's second. Daddy's trying to enlighten some people. Daddy's trying to enlighten some. She been trying to get in every live stream. She been getting in every live stream. If anybody who ever been here since the beginning, yeah, I know she been in every live stream. I'm gonna put that in the chat. She been in every live stream, and it's not been intentional. It's not been intentional. All right. But yeah, continue making more money. That's still going for number 3. Continue to make more money, and please avoid lifestyle creep if you can, if possible. Next thing you know, oh, be careful, baby girl. Yeah, because next thing you know, you'll be spending a lot more money than you were before, when you had less money. Oh, come on. Yeah, that is a real thing. The more money you make, the more money you spend. I can attest to that personally. All right.
Alrighty.
Right. Go back and play, okay? Go back upstairs, okay? You go back upstairs, right? And then we'll get ice cream. All right. So, number 4. And if y'all didn't hear, she's kind of breathing heavy. She's kind of a little, I think she has a cold. It's getting that time of year. I think it's about to change the seasons. I already know my birthday coming up, September 30th. The birthday coming up. Every time my birthday, I'm a fall baby. So I already know once it start getting that change in weather, you start getting a little cold, you start getting a little sick, and let me know I'm getting close to my birthday. It's that time of the year where people start getting sick. And I swear, it's like, she come on, have it from daycare, everybody in the house almost get it. It's like, dang. All right. But number 4 out of 5 for tips when never going broke again. First one, there's a quick recap. First one was getting the baseline, knowing where you're at. Second one was avoiding debt. Third one was, shoot, I gotta remember myself. The third was continually making money and avoiding lifestyle creep. Number 4, I would say, number 4 tip with never going broke is to diversify. What do I mean by diversify? Basically, the simple way to put it is try not to keep all your eggs in one basket. I think there's a bunch of times where we have to put all of our eggs in a certain basket, which I mean, it's part of life. I mean, it happens. You got to start somewhere. There's another side, long term, where you probably don't want to keep all of your eggs in the same basket, just in case something happens with that basket, and for whatever, anything could happen. And that's what some example of that is, again, layoff. Those have became extremely common since COVID. Layoffs, shoot. And you have all your ideas, like you just all in on this one job. I've known a lot of people who worked job for probably 10, 20 years, and then just got hit by a layoff. Weren't expecting it. It just happens. And that's kind of what I mean. You may have to put them all in one basket at first, maybe, but try to keep your options open with certain things, because again, you just never know what may happen. And again, I'm talking to you all as if I'm talking to my younger self. So just try to diversify, whether that be, again, going back to the side hustle, get a side hustle, or find a hobby that you're good at and could make money off of and could turn to a side hustle, or even look at other skills that you can learn, or maybe even upgrade your skills. You know, just kind of, it's almost like a never settling kind of thing, just to make sure you're safe, but also diversify. You know, if you're making money right now from your job, who knows, maybe you could also make money from a side hustle. Or maybe if you're making money from your job, you could also make money doing something else, like another job or something. I don't know. But stay diversified, you know, and that way that's also, if we looked at it as probability, if you're more diversified, still making a ton of money, I mean, the likelihood of you going broke is lowered for sure. So just try to diversify. Try to diversify. All right. And we're already at the last tip. Okay. So number 5, this is the 5th tip for never going broke for everyone. Again, try to make y'all as strong, rich, knowledgeable as possible to help y'all be the best version of yourself. Likewise for myself, because this helps me. All right, so just a quick run through of the 5 tips again. Number 1 is knowing where you're currently at, so knowing your starting point. Number 2 is avoiding debt. Number 3 is continually making money and avoiding lifestyle creep. Number 4 is to diversify. Number 5, the number 5 tip I would say with never going broke, once you've made your money and once you're starting to make your money, is to never stop learning. Ever. Never stop learning. I feel like once you stop learning, you kind of, you get caught up. You can get caught up real bad. So never stop learning. And never stop learning things in general, even outside of finance or even outside of money. Just never stop learning. There's always something new going on, especially in today's world. It's like there's more learning that you can do. It's like exponentially increasing. But yeah, never stop learning. Never stop learning. Well, even if that means meeting some people who know some other skills, or networking with other people who know some things with money that you may not have known, you know? Just never stop learning. Learn something new. Learn something new today if you can. Learn something new tomorrow if you can. Just find something different that make you more well-rounded and make you more knowledgeable yourself, especially in terms of with making money. I mean, you can start from this part. This is where you can start speaking to a financial advisor about certain investments. I mean, there's some that are safe. There's some that are risky. I always say, like, for anyone who doesn't know what an investment is basically just putting your money into something where you expect money back, or more money back. And for anyone who doesn't know, I just like to make sure we're all on the same playing field. So I kind of am breaking down terms like this just to make sure everyone knows. If you do know, great. If you don't know, it's okay. Don't feel bad. That's why I'm trying to break it down and make sure we're all on the level of the playing field on it, and make sure we're all cooperating together, because I want us all to win. So yeah, like learning about investing. There's things you can invest in with stocks, bonds. You can do some investing. Banks, trust me, they'll financial advisor get you right. They'll show you different places where you can invest your money, especially with like investing in 401k, retirement, all this type of stuff. You can do a whole bunch. But generally, the reason I was saying going into this side is what I've learned too is the less risky something is, you will learn about this. The less risky something is, technically, the more guaranteed it is. Simple. A savings account. Savings account. They do not pay the craziest interest rate, which you get paid for. Savings accounts at banks, they pay you for having money in them. The interest rate is very low. I mean, but your money doesn't go nowhere, essentially. CDs would be the next thing after that banks can offer. It's a higher interest rate, but also a lot of times you have to wait. You can wait a certain amount of time length, but there's some CDs that can last for like a week or less than a week. I mean, these are all just parts of investments. Definitely learn about them. My whole point is learn about the investments. Learn about them. You'll learn a lot of great things. CDs I think are amazing. Because there's some that you can do for like a week or less than a week, but there's some that last for years too as well. They have different rates. Rates change daily for all that. I'm not trying to talk with rates or anything like that, but just go ask somebody like a financial advisor at the bank. But there's other kinds of investments too. There's some that you can invest in like a wholesome portfolio where it has multiple companies, all kinds of things. But just don't start learning. Don't stop learning, and then find other ways where you can do more yourself. Like, example, finding other skills that you can do. This for me is learning. Shoot, I've never live streamed like this before ever. This is like the third or fourth one. I'm getting started in it, which I'm absolutely enjoying. But this is a whole new playing field for me. I remember the first time I ever streamed anything was doing it on video games. I was playing video games. But now I'm over here streaming, just talking, trying to be like almost like a kind of teacher and or a mentor. So, I mean, this is all new territory for me in a sense, other than outside of the social media side. But just never stop learning. Just never stop learning. You never know where life can take you. You never know where life can take you. But, yeah, let me see. But you can never go wrong learning something to invest in yourself. Like, I don't think you can ever really go wrong investing into yourself, whether you use the information or not, or whether you use the skill or not. The more skills you have, basically, simplifying it down, the more things you can do, the more valuable and useful you are in society. And ideally, the more valuable and useful you are in society, the more money you make. I mean, ideally, everything in society, we're based off of how useful we are. So you can't ever go wrong learning a new skill. You can't go wrong with that. Especially with AI and technology and cybersecurity. Can't go wrong learning it. All right. But this basically concludes the 5 tips that I have for never going broke. Again, if you need to consult a financial advisor, please go ahead. I am not a financial advisor. I am not licensed. These are just my personal opinions, which I believe can help. And these are just things that I wish I would have heard from someone myself. So I hope y'all have enjoyed it. We went through 5 things. We went through, number 1, finding out where you're at with your revenue and expenses. We went through talking about debt. We went through lifestyle creep. We went through diversifying, and we went through continually, always learning. I hope y'all stay up. Have an amazing rest of y'all's. Well, right now it's nighttime. I hope y'all have an amazing rest of your night. But for anyone who watches this and who isn't watching live, man, I hope y'all have an amazing rest of y'all's day. Again, I'm doing this to build a strong network. I told myself, because I'm getting millions of views, like I had it on TikTok. I told myself, like, I have millions of views on there, and that's not even including other platforms. I'm thinking like, man, I really don't know everybody like that, and I don't think I really ever gave everyone a chance to really know me. And not only that, it's like, man, I can't really stand the fact with myself of knowing that I'm getting all these people watching me, but I am not necessarily actually helping them in their life in some kind of way. I mean, I may be entertaining them, giving them something to watch and maybe something to laugh at, but I want to be able to actually like help, make someone stronger, make someone richer, make someone wealthier, make someone just better in life, So that's my whole goal for this. And we're all seeing this because all this stuff is time step. So we'll look at it 10, 20 years from now. and see how it looks, you know, and see where we came. Building up basically like an army. So I appreciate y'all for joining in. I hope y'all found something useful. I'm gonna put some in the chat. You all are amazing. Hope you learned something valuable. If y'all have any recommendations for something that y'all want to see from me, please let me know. All right. Appreciate y'all. Peace.